Good morning, everyone. Leah Dixon here from Port Coquitlam, British Columbia. I am popping on a little bit late for my 9 a.m. online workshop. Just having some trouble getting things set up on the computer today. Oh, and that reminds me, I don't know if I have my volume done correctly. Just give me a second here. Okay, so now hopefully you guys can hear me. And yeah, hopefully this is all going live in the right places. So today is kind of a reverse card class. It's an online card class. We're going to create 3 projects today using the Celebrate Sunflowers stamp set. And then you have the opportunity to place an order, $65 or more, and you will receive the make and take for this kit for this card class today, along with your order, as well as a special thank you gift from me of a 33 project tutorial PDF. And then anybody who, and you'll also get your Sale-a-bration item. And then anybody who places $100 order will get all of that, as well as an extra embellishment from me. Today we also have a prize draw going on during today's class. So there is a link in the description to this video where you can go to my little survey and fill in the door prize draw form. I'm going to be doing 2 draws on Monday morning, one for free embellishment and one for the 3 cards that I make in today's class. So I'm going to switch over to my desktop and we'll get started. And I hope you guys enjoy this. Good morning, Gail. All right, so here is the Celebrate Sunflowers bundle. And so right away, this bundle, it's $70 together, and that gets you your free Sale-a-bration item. So if you do not already own this bundle, I really, really highly recommend it. And I was inspired to create with this today because last night I was playing with the new August paper pumpkin that's completely sold out now, and it involves sunflowers, and I was just so inspired by the colors and by everything in that kit that I wanted to do a little bit more creating that you guys would be able to case. All right, good morning, Joanne. Good morning, Kathy. So I'm going to move this out of the way and we're going to get started crafting. So the first card that we are going to make today, if you are stamping along because you have this one, it's a thick basic white cardstock card base. And so this is 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4. And so that's our base. But we are going to do one more score on this card base. So I'm just going to grab my my paper trimmer here. And we are going to do one more score at 5/8. Make sure you're using your scoring blade, not your cutting blade. And so we've just added that little detail, but we're not going to actually fold that one yet. All right, so let's grab my bone folder. I got to stop using my thumbnails. I'm so bad at that. I've actually cracked one. I use my thumbnails so much for folding paper instead of grabbing my bone folder like I should. All right, so with our card front, and we have that score line there. I know it's hard for you guys to see it. We are going to do a little bit of blending on our paper. And so because I was so inspired by yesterday's paper pumpkin, we are going to use Melon Mambo and Mango Melody to do our sponging here on our card front. And the reason we're using those are the 2 colors, well, 2 of the colors that were used in yesterday's paper pumpkin, all that beautiful watercolor background. So we're going to do that. And we're going to just kind of sponge the Mango Melody down here at the bottom and kind of off to the side and just in a little bit of a random shape, like nothing too defined. And then we're going to take our our Melon Mambo. Those are hard to say together. Wow. We're going to take our Melon Mambo and do the same thing, but up near the top of our card. All right. Here we go. So just like that. And again, not too defined. And if we cross over that line, it's totally fine. Now, while we still have these two colors and our blending brushes out, I am going to just grab a strip here. This is one of our Sale-a-bration papers. So I'm just going to quickly, okay, sorry, I just got a message and I wanted to make sure it wasn't anything too important. Good morning, Lynn. So this is a small strip of one of our 4 designs in our Sale-a-bration paper. So this is the silver and gold foil paper. So you get 4 sheets of the gold polka dots, 4 sheets of the silver, 4 sheets of the silver stripes, and 4 sheets of the gold stripes. So what I have done here is I cut a piece of cardstock. This is 3/4 of an inch, and then it's supposed to be by 5.5. That's looking longer than 5.5 to me. So I'm just going to grab my paper trimmer right now and trim that down to 5.5. And there we go. All right. So 3/4 by 5.5 of that paper strip. Oh, you know, Joanne, actually using your blending brushes, less is always more with blending brushes. So if you want to start really, really light, one trick that I was told is hold it out by its very, very tip. Don't hold it where I hold it and kind of apply pressure, but hold it from its very, very tip. And then you get a very loose, light brush. You have to brush more to get a darker color, but then you'll for sure never overdo it with your blending brush. Just a little tip that I was given once upon a time. Now I hold mine quite close and apply a lot of pressure, but it's not how you're going to get the best results, especially when you're trying to blend colors. And then the other thing is always, once you've applied your ink, kind of go off your page and get rid of the dark spot. Or like I did here, put it where it's going to get covered up. All right, so I've just gone ahead and applied some Mango Melody to about half of this designer series paper strip. And then I'm going to take my Melon Mambo and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to apply it to about half the strip. And so they're going to blend together. Circular motions really help as well. And so those are going to blend together to create a nice little strip there. Aloha. I'm pretty sure that's Janine. Hi. Yeah, give it a try, Joanne. I hope that works. Bonjour, Pierrette. So here we go. We've got that done. So now we can actually glue that strip. This is actually going to go on the inside of our card as a little bit of a decoration. I'm going to use liquid glue to do this because I am awful at lining things up if I don't use liquid glue. It's really, really bad. All right. So I also like liquid glue because I can kind of use this fatter end of our glue stick to spread it out. And then let's attach this right here. Okay, see, again, glad I used the liquid glue because I did not put that on straight to start. Okay, now this is still just a little bit long, so I'm going to grab my paper snips and just trim off that end. There we go. All right. Okay, so with that done, I am now, oh, did I just spill some glue? Oh, yeah, right there. Just rub that off. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, we have this crease here. We're going to fold it. And so you can see now, once we folded that, it's going to expose that beautiful piece that we just did the blending brushes on. Before I put that in though, I've got here a 2" by 5.5" piece of Melon Mambo. I am going to take 1/2 inch off of it. And don't worry, we're going to use both pieces. But there we go. So I've taken 1/2 inch off of that. And I'm going to put some really strong adhesive here. So I'm using Seal plus along the whole length of that little fold. And then I am going to put this down. Now don't press right away. Make sure it's lined up and straight and everything. If it's a little too long, make sure you've got all that extra on one end so it's easy to trim. And then I'm going to trim it. I don't know what was going on with my cutting, but apparently I didn't get 5.5 inches cut exactly the same on both cards. There we go. All right, so with that piece attached like that, we're now going to put some more Seal Plus on here. And it is important that you use Seal Plus or Terran tape or some really strong adhesive, because this is going to want to flip open on you otherwise. All right, so we're going to fold that in and use our bone folder to really crease that. There we go. And now we have this really pretty card front. Okay, so with that done, we are going to play around a little bit more. I've got this beautiful little piece here. I am going to grab, you can do this however works best for you. I'm still, sorry guys, I use my retired tailor tag punch. This is narrow enough that you could use the Banner's Pick-a-Punch. Or you could just use paper snips and trim the bottom of it. Now you can, I'm actually going to make that a little bit shorter. You can make this as short as you want. There we go. Oops. Nope. There we go. So however you like to flag your banners, go ahead and do that. Now, before I put this down, I want to add just a tiny bit of interest to this. So I am going to emboss it. I just realized I left my embossing folder on the other side of my room. I am going to use the Splatters embossing folder from our Stripes and Splatters combo. And so I'm going to grab my mini machine here. I'm going to put my paper into my folder. And then, of course, I always forget which way this goes. I think it's plate 3 and plate 2, but we'll see. We'll see. Nope, that's too tight. All right, maybe it's 2 plate 2s. I don't know why I have such a hard time remembering this. There we go. 2 plate 2s seems to have done the trick, unless that, oh yeah, perfect. So 2 plate 2s around our embossing folders. All right, so that was the Splatters embossing folder. And then I can pop that away. All right, and then this banner that I've created, I'm going to glue it straight down to my card front. So again, I'm just going to use liquid glue, because I can then line it up, get it straight, do what I need to do. All right. So there we go. Just like that. And so I love that one because it's a little bit subtle, but it just does the trick. Okay, so now we have to create a sentiment and some design to go on the front of this card base that we've created. And what I have here is a circle that I cut out using the Stylish Shapes dies. I just tend to have a bunch of these laying around. These are my absolute favorite go-to dies, 100%. So I used the 3rd largest circle and just cut that out. All right. So with that done, I am going to stamp my sentiment. And the sentiment I've chosen for this one, oh, there it is Let's Celebrate You. Oh, good morning, Elaine. So you're probably thinking, what is she doing? It doesn't even fit on that circle. I'm going to show you a little trick. Now you can use our brand new masking tape, or you can be lazy like me and just use a sticky note. And I'm going to tear this sticky note in half. And let's see, using the not torn edge, I'm going to attach this so it's covering up the word let's. And over here on kind of an angle, so it's covering up the word you. So now the only words we have showing is the word celebrate. I'm going to grab my soft suede ink, and let's see here. We'll go from this side. So I'm going to hold that down so it's covering up those other two words, and I'm going to ink up the word celebrate. With that done, I'm going to peel off. Do not forget to peel off those, those pieces. And I'm going to stamp the word celebrate right in the center of my circle. All right. Now we grab our chamois and we give that a really good scrub. Make sure there is no ink left on this stamp. You can even stamp it off to the side to make sure it's coming out clean. So there we go. That's not leaving any extra marks. And now I'm going to ink up the other two words individually. So I'm going to come in here with the edge of my ink pad and just ink up the word let's. There we go. So I've got just that one inked now, and I'm going to put it right above celebrate. Then we have to clean our stamp again. So lots of back and forth, clean and ink, but it's worth it because we can get this beautiful sentiment onto a circle. All right. And then finally we ink up the word you. So now I do like to hold my ink pads. The side that has the name label, you can really actually see the ink pad and where it is. And so that makes it quite easy to come in here and apply ink to just the words that you want. All right, and then we're going to do our U, and I'm going to do my U as far over to the left as I can while keeping it on the circle because I want to put a little sunflower overlapping in there. All right, so we'll put that off to the side for now. Put away our soft suede ink, and this can actually right now get attached to our card front using some dimensionals. And there we go. Come on, peel those backings off. All right, so let's put that right about there. Excellent. And then we'll put that off to the side, and we have a bit more stamping to do. So now I have just a scrap of basic white cardstock, and I'm going to grab the smallest sunflower from our Celebrate Sunflowers set and some soft suede ink again. So this is very reminiscent of yesterday's paper pumpkin kit, just using the soft suede ink. There we go. Stamp that. And then I am going to use some blends to color this. I don't have crushed curry. Well, I do, but they're retired and on the other side of my room. So I have Daffodil Delight blends, soft suede, but I'm only using the light, and Old Olive. Okay, so those are the colors of blends that we're going to use to color in our little sunflower this morning. So I'm going to start with my soft suede for my center, and I'm going to kind of color the center, the very center, color the very outside edge. Here we go. And then I'm going to start in the center again and color out. But what that's going to do is, as I get to the spots that I've already colored, it's going to leave them darker than that little line in the middle. So we kind of have some tones happening there. All right, then I'm going to take my light Old Olive and color the whole leaf. And the other one. Now you could use, I was tempted to use a brighter green, maybe a Granny Apple for this, and I think it would work because of the colors we're using with the Melon Mambo and the Mango Melody. Then I'm just using the thin tip of the dark Old Olive to go in and go over the lines that are already there on our leaf. Okay, so I'll just bring that a bit closer so you guys can see is that we've got like multiple tones happening here with both shades. All right, and then finally we grab our light Daffodil Delight, and I'm going to color the whole sunflower. with my light Daffodil Delight. So there we go, whole thing. I'm not being super duper careful to color all the spots or even just stay in the lines, because although there's a die that coordinates with this sunflower, I'm actually not going to use it on this card. I am going to fussy cut this so I get a much closer cut than the dies would give, because the dies will leave a little bit of a white outline, and I don't really want that. All right, so now I'm using the thin tip of the dark Daffodil Delight to go in and add in some color right where they already have the little lines on our flower. There we go. And that is our colored sunflower. So I'm going to grab my snips and I am going to fussy cut this. Now, if you really hate fussy cutting, there is a die. It matches up quite nicely, but it does leave a white border, just so you know. So I really didn't want a white border. All right, so while I'm snipping this out, for those of you who joined late, I just want to explain that this is actually an online card class. And if you're watching today and you're like, ooh, I want to make those cards, you can actually place an order with me, a $65 order with me. You're going to get a free Sale-a-bration item, which we've already used one on these cards. You're going to get a 33 project PDF tutorial from me, and then you're also going to get the tutorial and make and take kit for the 3 cards that I'm making today. So it is really a great time to place an order. I'm going to leave this party open until 7 a.m. on Monday morning, and then I will prep and mail out all the make and take kits on Monday. Now, you can also have a chance to win by filling in my door prize form. I'm going to be giving away an embellishment and the 3 cards that I make today. So you want to definitely grab that link out of the description of this video and fill that one in. Okay, we're just about done here. Oh, and then of course, if you place a $100 order with me, you'll get all the things that I'm sending out for my $65 orders, but you'll also get a free embellishment in the mail from me. So just an extra little perk for ordering. Sale-a-bration is almost over, you guys. August 31st is the last day of Sale-a-bration. So I wanted to just show you some of the stuff that's still available. We have the gorgeous gold and silver foil DSP still. We've got the little hippos still happening. I'm not using them today. Lots and lots of stuff. So you can go online to my store, Leah Dixon .stampinup.net, and see all of that stuff there. So now that we've got that little sunflower cut out, we're going to put them on there using some dimensionals. So yeah, if you have any questions about today's ordering special, about Sale-a-bration, about how you can get in on all the goodies, feel free to ask questions on here or contact me afterwards. I'm just going to add a tiny dab of seal to this as well, so that the spot where it overlaps can really stick down. All right, so we're going to put that on there just like that. Voila. And now our last thing that we're going to do today is we're going to embellish this with some brushed brass butterflies. So let's see. I'm going to grab my take your pick tool, because I always find these guys stick to my fingers. And there we go. Using this take your pick tool also ensures that you actually pick up the adhesive off of the sheet, because these butterflies are actually pretty easy to peel off of their adhesive when they're here in this package. I find once they're on your card, they're fine, but on the package, the adhesive likes to stick. All right, so there we have it. We've added in those little brushed brass butterflies as a final little gold accent to go along with the gold on the edge of our card. So that's the first card today in today's card class. I hope you guys liked that one. It's a fun little idea with the fold back and everything. So quick and easy card. And then the inside all ready to go to write in. All right, so that is number 1. Put that to the side. Now our second card, oh, thanks, Lynn. Our second card today also uses the silver and gold foil designer series paper. And let's just pull this out. So I've got here a sheet of the gold polka dot paper. And then I have a piece of basic white, thick basic white cardstock. This one, though, has been cut. It's 11 inches long, so standard sheet, by 4 1/4, and then scored at 5 1/2. So a little bit of a different fold. Oh, merci, Pierrette. Okay, so we've got that. Now, this background piece, we're actually going to just go right ahead and glue it straight down. We're not blender brushing it, nothing. This card is actually inspired by one of the alternative projects in last night's Paper Pumpkin video. Now, they didn't do a gold polka dot background. They used the gold hive foil from that the Paper Pumpkin as their background, but since not all of you are going to have that, and you also only got 8 sheets, so it's going to go fast, I thought I'd show you an alternative here, which is to do the gold polka dots. All right, so we've got gold polka dots happening on our page. Now that can just get put off to the side. We don't need that anymore, not for a little while. And here I've got just, I guess it's a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of basic white cardstock. And I'm going to grab some rich raspberry ink. Now you could use rich raspberry or Blackberry Bliss. Blackberry Bliss is actually the color that was used in the kit. But I wanted to use my rich raspberry. And I'm going to come in here and ink up the largest sunflower from our Celebrate Sunflowers set. Okay, really get that nice and juicy. And we're going to stamp that kind of off to the side on our paper because I want to leave room to do some leaves. But now right away, while that is still nice and wet, we are going to grab, where did they go? Come on. We are going to grab our blender pens. So these are different than blending brushes, obviously. This is, I'm not even sure what it's filled with, but it's for blending colors. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and just start to color right over top of our stamped image. And you can see it's starting to pull out some of that color from our ink on the page and add a nice little pink tone to everything. So then I'm just going to go one petal at a time and draw that color out into each petal. Okay, we can even do like start from the edges and draw it in, or start from the base and draw it up. But we're going to use the color from the ink on our page to add color to this sunflower. So this is just a really quick and easy way to get some subtle color into this flower. And I love how, even though we stamped with a dark purple, the color that's coming out is kind of a lighter pink. Okay, now with the blender pencil, you don't want to color one spot too much because it will start to like pill your paper and all of that. So definitely want to just like be quick in your motions and don't go over one spot too many times. And then I always try to make sure I'm kind of touching the edges so that I can really get in and pull that color out of what we've stamped. Okay, a few more here. So it's not the fastest technique. You can also do this with Wink of Stella, but then you're going to end up with a very sparkly flower. So depends on if that's the look you want or not. All right, it's just about done. There we go. Now, if you wanted to add even more color to this, you can also dip your blender pen into actual ink. So like put a little, like squeeze your ink pad and get a little spot of ink. And then you'd be able to come in here and add even darker color. There we go, just about done. And so you get 3 blender pens in a pack. But what's great about them is you actually, when you're done, I'll show you, you just, oh here, I'm not quite done. I want to go and add just a bit more color down here. So I'm just going to draw out of that darker ring and draw some of that color up and out. Okay, there we go. All right, so then you just take your blender pen and wipe it on your page until it runs clean. So now we have that beautiful pink flower all done. You've never done that. Well, I'm so glad you were able to see something new. It's a great one. It just says Facebook user, so hi, and don't worry about being late. There's always, you can watch this 100 times if you want. So we've got that one done. Now we're going to do the exact same technique, but with this little leaf. And so I am actually going to use Pear Pizzazz, so a much lighter green. You could also use, what is this called? Mossy Meadow. Because Mossy Meadow is actually the color of the cardstock. Actually, maybe I'll do that. I've already done one with Pear Pizzazz, and I know it looks nice with the light leaves, but yeah, no, I'm going to stick with the light leaves. A little indecisive. All right, so I'm just going to do one leaf at a time so that my ink is still pretty wet when I go in. And I'm just going to kind of come out along those lines. And we're adding just the most subtle little green to this. Okay, so all the ink from those lines, we're using that to color these leaves. And so it is quite light. There we go. But there is a little bit of a green tinge there. And like I said, if you really wanted to, you could go in and add a bit more. So here, I'll actually show you guys on these leaves. So I just squeeze my ink pad and then open it up, and there's a little dot of color on the inside. So I can pick that up with my blending brush and then use that to add even more color than what was coming off of the ink on the page. There we go. So there, we're able to add a little bit more color to those. All right, so I'm going to do a few more of these. I'd like to see if I can fit 5 on this page. There we go. Oops, that one did not stamp well. Okay, well, luckily, oh yeah, here we go. I had a spare paper because I didn't know if I'd actually be able to fit 5 on here. And then I'll leave that open. And I'll start by blending that. Blend what I can. Oh, no, I'm not doing that one. Right. So I'll blend what I can, and then I'll use my ink to add a bit more if I need to. So I'm being quite quick with my motions. I don't want to go over one spot too much so that my paper doesn't pill. Now, another way around that is using the shimmer white, and the shimmery white paper is much more resilient when it comes to liquids on it, and it's much more forgiving when you're doing this kind of thing. There we go. Oops, I didn't take enough off of that one, darn it. We'll have a bit of a darker leaf, and I can probably tuck that underneath so that we don't see that. Okay, so there we have it. Fun little coloring technique here. And it's a great one if you don't have like pencil crayons and all of those other colors. You can just use your inks to do all of your own coloring. Oh, oui, ça va. It's a little bit cloudy here today, so it's a perfect day to be inside and doing some stamping. Now, before I go and cut those out, we're going to do a little bit more stamping. So I've got here my embossing buddy. So you can grab this out of our mini catalog right now. You get the embossing buddy along with the powder pal tray, your reverse tweezers, and a little paintbrush. All right, and then I'm going to grab my Versamark ink and my Thanks a Bunch sentiment. Yep, there we go. So I'm going to stamp that with Versamark right onto this little strip of Mossy Meadow. This is, I believe, 3 1/4 by 3/4. And so I just stamped that right on there. And then I'm going to grab my Powder Pals tray, which I just happen to keep white embossing powder in all the time because it's my favorite thing to emboss with. And so there we have it. That's covered in our embossing powder. And then we just need to heat this up. So I'm just going to move it off to the side because I don't want to blow anything around on my desk. There we go. So I just used my heat tool to, oops, that's not even on the screen. There we go. Just used my heat tool to emboss that. All right, so now we're going to cut these out. And these actually, if I trim this up a bit, where are my paper snips? I can actually cut these using my, my mini machine, and I won't have to go all the way over to the big guy. So let's cut those off and we'll trim this down so that it'll also fit, because you can fit anything up to 3 1/4 inches into our mini. So there we go. That'll all fit now. And I'll show you how the dies work so beautifully with this. All right, put that off to the side. So we grab our plate 3, plate 2, our image, and then, if I can find them, oh my goodness, I just had them to show you guys. Where did I put my dies? Oh no. Oh, there we go. I hid them under the stamp set. All right, so we have a die that perfectly outlines this. Now, lining this one up though is a bit of a trick. You kind of got a trial and error, but I do tend to look, there's 2 kind of, let's put this up here a bit more for you. There's 2 kind of swoopy petals. I tend to use those as my guide point to get this lined up. All right, so make sure that's fully on our plate. And then you can use like a piece of washi tape or something if you want to hold that still. I personally just hope for the best. There we go. So we run that one through, and you'll see here it cuts that out. It just leaves a little bit of a white border, but not too much, and it's quite lovely. Oh, hello. It says Facebook user, so I'm not sure who just joined us, but thank you for joining. And you can always go back and watch the replay to see the first card. We're just on card number 2. I'm just cutting out the sunflower and leaves that we colored using ink and a blender pen. All right. Oh, hi, Jacqueline. All right, so featuring the Celebrate sunflowers. Last night's paper pumpkin got me all inspired to create with sunflowers some more. So if you have last night's paper pumpkin, of course you can use the sunflower and leaves from that, and then you'll just have to fussy cut because they don't come with dies. So I've got 5 leaves here to cut out, so just a few more to go. But I do love that I can cut these leaves out with the dies and not have to fussy cut them all. Sure does save time. Okay, 2 more to go. Come on. There we have it. All right. So for those of you just joining, I do have a door prize form today for today's online card class. I'm giving away 2 prizes. One of them I'll draw for a free embellishment, and the other one is going to be a draw for the 3 cards that I make in today's video. So definitely check out that link, fill that in, and share this video with your friends as well if you have stamping friends. And you've enjoyed what we've done so far today. Share the link to the video with them once we're done. And yeah, it'd be greatly appreciated. Okay, that was our last leaf, finally. Whew. Okay, good thing I didn't have to fussy cut all those. So we're going to move that off to the side, put the leaf back there. So now we just get to put our card together. So I'm going to take my sunflower and decide which way. So there's these little curved ones. I want those down at the bottom, I think. So knowing which way I want this, I'm going to put a little strip of Seal Plus on each side. So it's actually not red. It is rich raspberry, and then I use blender pens to color it in. Isn't that gorgeous? Hi, Shirley. So now that I've got that little bit of Seal Plus on there, I am going to stick my leaves behind. Now, where's that one that I overcolored? There it is. Put that there so it's really hidden. Oh, didn't get enough glue down there. All right. I was just kind of guessing where my glue would need to be. So I'm doing this now before I put this on my card front so that I can really have a good sense of how this needs to go on my card front and not have leaves hanging off. Oops. So I can really position this well once I've got these on. All right. So with those guys there, I'm going to put dimensionals on the back. Now, I like to really make sure my cards are secure. So I am actually going to put a dimensional holding those 2 flowers, a dimensional holding that one holding those 2, and then I'll put some other dimensionals on my sunflower. I'm a little bit of an over-dimensional user. All right. So we'll peel all of those off, and then we'll decide the best placement for this flower. There we go. So yeah, the flower was colored with rich raspberry, and the leaves were pear pizzazz. Now I'm going to put this right on like that. So all my leaves, maybe they go off the designer series paper a little bit, but they stay fully on my card front. Now this Thanks a Bunch is going to go on right there. So I'm going to put a dimensional behind that end. And then I'm going to use just a little bit of adhesive on the other end so that it will attach itself to the flower, but not be popped up. All right. Now I'll get that straight. There we go. Okay, and that is our second card complete, and I love how that gold foil just adds a little bit of a fun touch to the background. So this one is very, very similar to one of the cards that was an alternative for our paper pumpkin. So have fun with that. All right, so card 2. Now our third card is another case. I changed it up a little bit though, but it's just such a fun technique that I wanted to show you. All right. Oh, and I didn't cut paper for this one? What? Oh, don't do that. Don't use your thumbnails. So I have a thick basic white card base again, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then I was supposed to have cut, but clearly did not, so we'll have to do it right now. I was supposed to have cut a piece of silver polka dot paper. So let's just grab that. So there's a 6 by 6 silver polka dot. Grab our paper trimmer. And I'm going to trim this down to 4 inches by 5 1/4. Now I like to do the 4-inch cut first because then that leaves me with a nice 2 by 6 strip of this designer series paper so that it's easy to use on other projects. I love using 2-inch strips on the side of a card. So it's perfect. All right, now before we attach this to our card base, I'm using up some scraps today. So this was a card that was posted on, I believe, Stampin' Up's page yesterday. Oh, why am I missing a color? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I am missing a color. Where did it go? I am missing my Granny Apple Green. Interesting. Well, I'll show you guys where all these scraps came from while I go and grab myself a Granny Apple Green strip. I throw all my paper strips into a bin beside my desk. So anytime I'm trimming something up and I end up with that silly little 1/2-inch strip, I don't add it back into my color folder. I add it into this bin so that I can just reach in here and grab whatever I want whenever I feel the need for a little strip of color. It's great because then I can test out color combos. It just means that when I'm looking for something very particular, I have to dig a little bit. All right, that looks like it's wider than 1/2 inch. That's so strange that my piece went missing. All right, oh, I think I sent a note too short. All right, so sometimes I just grab colors and I don't even care what size they are. I just put them together. Today, though, I am looking very specifically for a 1/2-inch strip of Granny Apple Green. That I had already cut, so I'm very curious where it went. That's not Granny Apple. That's not 1/2 inch. Well, well, well. Of course. Well, maybe we will substitute for a different color. I think that's what we're going to have to do because I don't see one. Or we'll actually here. We'll use something wider than 1/2 inch. That's perfect. Okay, actually, is it going to be enough? Yeah, it is. Okay, so we'll use a strip slightly wider. That's okay. So here's what's going to happen is we've got all these strips of paper, and I'm going to start just by laying them out. So this one is a sweet sunflower or sweet sorbet, melon mambo, mango melody, Granny Apple Green, Pool Party, and Orchid Oasis. All right, so I just need to move these up a little bit. It's not quite going to work for me. All right, now normally I would start with the top one, glue it down and move on from there. But because this Granny Apple Green one's just a little bit short and I want to make sure if, you know what, actually we'll do it the way I normally would. Okay, so these look mostly centered top to bottom. They are on an angle. I'm going to pick up my first one. This is the only one that I'm going to apply adhesive to the cardstock. Okay, so I'm going to just guess. It'll probably be too long. That's okay. And I'm going to place that down. All right, now with that one in place, I am actually going to take my Seal or my Seal Plus, your choice, and run my adhesive onto my designer series paper, not onto my cardstock. And then I'm going to line up the next strip and just keep repeating. So you can do this with any cardstock or designer series paper and any strips to get that nice little angle. There we go. And oops. This allows me to run the adhesive out to the edges without getting too much on here and having sticky ends. I only have one sticky end. Okay, there we go. See, I think when Martin Stone made this card, he used a fun Christmas set, though, when he did this. All right, so we have our beautiful little rainbow on our card, on our designer series paper now. And again, I'm using that Sale-a-bration designer series paper. Now, this is why you don't want all your ends to be sticky. All right, so now that we've got that done, I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer and I'm going to line up just like that and trim off all those extra bits. Okay, so fun little rainbow bits, and luckily only one stuck to my trimmer. All right, and then we come over and do the same thing on the other side. There we go. So now we have this awesome little rainbow. Oh, it went really blurry. There we go. We have this awesome little rainbow, and now my paper trimmer, I think I need to replace the blade because that's a little bit frayed. So I'm just going to use my bone folder to smooth that out a bit on both sides. There we go. Okay, much better. All right. So with that done, I now have a piece of basic black cardstock. Now I want to make sure that this is on the same angle. And I don't think it is because that was from a different card and a different angle. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use the grid paper here on my desk to make that straight. The grid paper to, actually I'm going to turn this around to make that straight. And then I'm going to put my ruler across my top rainbow line and just grab a pencil and create a little line there. And then I'm going to scooch that up. And actually I'm going to go quite far. There we go. And then down here at the bottom, just in case somehow we got off track, I'm going to do it as well. Okay, so now you'll notice though that where my lines are, this black piece of paper is going to be wider than my rainbow. And that's exactly what I'm looking for, is I want a wider black piece. And now I can bring in my paper trimmer and I can put that on there. Now I'm cutting it so that the line I drew will be cut off. So yeah, just slightly to the inside. There we go. All right. So now I have this piece of black cardstock. Sorry that this keeps going blurry on you guys. Oh my goodness. All right, so now I have this piece of black cardstock that when I put this on here, it's got the same angle as my rainbow, but I can actually put the piece of paper straight. So kind of nice that way. Now, before I attach it though, we're going to stamp on it. So again, I'm going to grab my embossing buddy. And I am going to grab my Versamark ink. And the sentiment I am using says, "Know that you are loved." And I am going to actually make this straight because I want to stamp this sentiment straight across, not on an angle. There we go. All right, know that you are loved. And then I'm going to dip this into my powder and my powder pal. So I've got some white embossing powder on there now, and we're going to heat that up. All right, so do that off screen. Okay, so there we have our sentiment on there. And oh my goodness, it is so blurry. I'm so sorry, you guys. All right, now this piece that we just created, we are going to, actually, I'm going to put this onto our card base now before we do anything else. So I'm going to grab my liquid glue and glue that one down. So again, just a tiny dot and then drag it across. And it's a great way to put a super thin layer of liquid glue onto the back of your paper without a big mess. And then we can also wiggle it to attach it. So there we go. Okay. Uh-oh, I have some adhesive on there. There we go, get that off. All right, so with that done, now we're going to attach this piece of black using some dimensionals. So I'm just gonna pop 4 on the back here, oh, maybe 5, 1 in the center to hold it up. All right, so 5 dimensionals on the back there. And here we go. Pop that on. And so I'm using the edge to make sure I'm straight. There we go. And now we have just a little bit of die cutting to do to add some stuff. Oh, I know. I wish the embossing embossing powder was sold separately as well. I actually just ordered a whole new set because I needed white and silver. So yeah, it's a pain. And yeah, as a demonstrator, I have the access to the sandbox. And so I've been sandboxing that idea for a while. Hopefully they listen. All right, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab back my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine because I'm going to die cut some white leaves. And I'm using, to start with, I'm using that same just leaf outline that I had before. So I'm going to do 3 of those in the white. So 1, 2, and, oh, come on, there we go, and a 3rd one. Okay, so the reason I'm doing 3 in white is because my next step is I'm going to grab, oh good, yeah, if we all do, maybe they'll listen. All right, so I've got those 3 leaves in white. Now I'm going to actually grab the other leaf, the one that is just like a skeleton leaf, and I'm actually going to use another free Sale-a-bration product. So they added in some new Sale-a-bration products, and one of them was the silver foil paper. So you get like a very white silver, a gray silver, and almost a black silver in the pack. And I'm going to use the lightest silver to create some skeleton leaves. Now, I am down to very little of this light silver, so I'm not going to attach. Actually, you know what? I probably can. I'm going to use some adhesive sheets. So I'm going to move my mini machine out of the way for a moment. Adhesive sheets, they're 6 by 12 inches long, and they are a lifesaver when you're doing intricate designs. So I actually have tiny little strip holes. Perfect. So I cut mine up and save it and keep it in small quantities. So here I'm going to even just trim that down. There we go. So I've got just a tiny piece of adhesive sheet to go onto the back of this. Now the trick is peeling this off because this is just a scrap. It doesn't have the nice fold in it. When you get the full sheets, they have 2 folds in them so that you can easily peel it back and peel the backing off. Oh, come on. Uh-oh, come on. So let's see here. How am I going to get this backing off? Ah, there we go. All right, now when you start to peel it, you're going to find one side is sticky and one side is not. Obviously, put the sticky side down onto whatever you're trying to make sticky backed. All right, so now I have that adhesive on there, and I'm going to go ahead and die cut that. I am going to grab one more piece because I need a third leaf. So I think that's going to fit in there nicely. Let's just trim this up a bit. I don't want, it's a very, very sticky, so I don't want any excess adhesive. Right, now how did I do that last time? There we go. All right, there's my sticky part. So I'm going to pop that on there. All right, so this adhesive back, you guys are going to see, is going to be a lifesaver when we go to attach these. Oh, Frank's ready for your morning walk. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm lucky. Noah had to go to work this morning, so he's not waiting on me for anything. All right, so we'll bring back our small machine now. And I'm actually just going to tear that and only use what I need in the machine. So we're going to cut out these leaves with the adhesive back on them. Now, because it has the adhesive backing, I am going to run it through more than once just to make sure that it gets fully cut through, because that's now a pretty thick piece that we've put through because it's got the silver foil and the adhesive backing. And then I'm going to use my take your pick tool to poke out through the top there to peel that back. All right, I'm not going to worry about getting all the little bits out right now, because when you use adhesive backing, a lot of those pieces fall out as you actually peel off the adhesive part. Okay, so, garage sale. Let's put our plates back. Okay, so now I've got 2 more leaves to cut. So this one just fits. Whew. Okay. So roll that through and back again. There we go. And then I'm going to use this to poke it out. Oh. Now when you're taking it out, make sure you don't just peel back the adhesive backing. Make sure you actually grab the foil layer there. All right. Now I do pop out the excess, like if anything gets stuck, I do peel it out so that it doesn't impact the next cutting. All right. And our last leaf. Roll that through and back again. Okay. So put those out of the way now, and we can finish up this card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these leaves, these silver leaves that I've created, and I'm going to attach them. Oh, don't put that there. Put it away. Don't put it down. There we go. I'm going to take these silver leaves and I'm going to attach them to the white leaves that I created. And you're going to see that they fit quite nicely together. So I'll just get rid of those scraps. So these leaves are going to go onto the white ones just perfectly. So I'm going to come here to the back, peel off that adhesive backing. And these ones are going to line up easiest if you start with the stem. And they're also a little bit repositionable. So until you have them where you want them, don't put them down. And then I actually flip mine over so that I can really rub the back to make sure that they really stick together. All right, so there's one little silver leaf done. Now let's peel this off. There we go. Most of that came out. There we go. And then this one. And wiggle that around till it's right. Flip it over. So this is nice because then you can add color behind this skeleton look, and I love it with the silver. It's actually my first time doing these in silver. I've always done them in colors before. And here we go. I love the silver with white. This is beautiful. Okay, and then really rub that into place. So now the reason I don't rub the front is because then my rubbing could actually move the silver around. This way I'm really just adhering the two bits together. All right, now let's bring our card base back. Oh, thanks. Yeah, the silver and white leaves are fabulous. All right, and now these guys are going to get attached to our card front. And so some of them will attach with dimensionals and some will put a little bit of other adhesive on them. So that one's going to kind of go right there. This one will get a dimensional right down at the tip, but I'm also going to put just a little bit of Seal Plus on the one end so that it can attach to the black layer. So just like that. And then same with this one. This one's going to get just a tiny bit of white, or sorry, dimensional down at the tip and a tiny bit of seal where it's going to overlap onto the black layer. All right, and just like that. Now the final touch to this card is going to be to add a little embellishment. And actually the embellishment I think I'm going to add today. I wasn't sure if I was going to use the white sequins or the, here we go, the iridescent rhinestones. The iridescent rhinestones I just absolutely adore. They are so fun and sparkly. Oh yeah, I think I'm going to add the iridescent rhinestones. They're so fun and sparkly, and you can actually get a package for free right now. Let's just see here. There's some tiny ones. Mine are all cut up. I've had them like cut up for classes to send things out, and yeah. So you can actually earn a package of these for free right now when you order one of the stamp sets that's going to be used for World Card Making Day. So you definitely want to check that out. And actually, let's see here. Where else do I want? Down there, I think. And a little one up here. There we go. Yeah. So there is our final card. And so just a little bit of bling on there to go with that silver background. So you've seen a bunch of products right now that are available as Sale-a-bration items, a bunch of products that are just available in the catalog. And then we also have our upcoming World Card Making Day, and there's 3 bundles that are being focused on for that. And if you purchase any of those bundles, you get iridescent rhinestones for free. Let's just straighten that out. So there we go. There's the 3 cards from today using the Celebrate Sunflower bundle. And so we used a lot of this kit. Actually, I'm going to switch those around because I get a glare on the right side of my desk for some reason. All right. So with a $65 order, you get the Make and Take kit to create these, as well as some other goodies. With a $100 order, you get the same deal plus a free embellishment. So thank you so much for joining me. I also wanted to let you know that this week, my Wednesday morning Facebook Live is actually going to happen on Tuesday morning. I have to go into work this week to set up my classroom. And so I'm actually going in on my day off instead of a regular work day, because that's when my teaching partner is free to join me. So yeah, so I won't be here on Wednesday morning. I'm going to be at work. So I'll see you guys on Tuesday morning. So remember that this online card class is open until 7 a.m. on Monday. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.